My roommate has been stealing my expensive perfume for months, so I replaced it with something special. I noticed my $150 bottle of Chanel perfume was getting low way too fast. At first, I thought maybe I was using more than usual, but I keep track of that stuff since it's so expensive. I marked the bottle with a tiny piece of tape to see if I was going crazy. 3 days later, the tape had moved down half an inch. My roommate Katie was definitely using my perfume while I was at work. This girl makes double what I do, but apparently thinks my stuff is fair game. She always complimented how good I smelled, asking what perfume I wore. I told her the brand, but never the exact one, thinking she'd buy her own. I decided to test it further. I put a hidden camera in my room, one of those tiny ones that looks like a phone charger. Sure enough, the next day while I was in class, there she was. Katie walked into my room, went straight to my dresser, and sprayed herself with my perfume. Not just a little spritz either. She gave herself a full body spray down like she was getting ready for a date. That's when I noticed she was also using my expensive moisturizer and trying on my jewelry. This chick was treating my room like her personal boutique. She even took a selfie wearing my grandmother's ring, which made my blood boil. But instead of confronting her, I came up with a better plan. I bought an identical Chanel bottle online for cheap and filled it with a special mixture. Liquid-ass spray, some garlic juice, a tiny bit of fish sauce, and water. It's mixture, liquid-ass spray, some garlic juice, a tiny bit of fish sauce, and water. It looked exactly like perfume, but smelled like someone had died and been buried in a gym sock. I put it in the same spot and waited. The next morning, Katie came down for breakfast smelling absolutely horrific. She had that confident strut she always had when wearing my real perfume, completely unaware that she smelled like a dumpster behind a seafood restaurant. Our other roommate, Emma, immediately asked what that awful smell was. Katie got defensive and said she didn't smell anything weird. But throughout the day, I watched her getting more and more confused as people kept their distance. She kept sniffing herself, trying to figure out what was wrong. The smell got worse as the day went on because body heat activated it. When she got home from work, she was almost in tears. She said people at her office were avoiding her, and someone even opened a window when she walked by. She couldn't figure out why she smelled so bad after showering and using such expensive perfume. I felt a little guilty watching her scrub herself raw in the shower, but then I remembered her wearing my grandmother's ring without permission. She used that fake perfume for 3 more days before finally throwing the bottle away, convinced it had gone bad. But here's where it gets really good. A week later, she asked if she could borrow some of my perfume for a date. I said sure and handed her the real bottle, watching her face carefully. She sprayed it on and immediately her eyes went wide. She realized this smelled completely different from what she'd been using. Katie turned bright red and started stuttering about how she thought I wouldn't mind sharing. I told her I marked all my expensive stuff now and knew exactly how much she'd been taking. She offered to pay me back, but I had a better idea. I made her clean my room, do my laundry, and buy groceries for 2 weeks. Every time she complained, I reminded her that Chanel perfume costs more than her car payment. She never touched my stuff again, and now she asked permission before borrowing even my cheap chapstick.